going? I'm Eliza and welcome to another vlog. This vlog, I just wanted to say thank you to Pedro who suggested a couple of videos back to talk about my philosophy on love. Now, love is a very interesting topic. I can't say that I've read a lot of different literature on love, but I guess from my personal experience and my opinion of it, and depending on which way you look at it, it is a very interesting topic, and of course, as always, I have an opinion on it. That's standard though. Love is one of the most profound emotions that human beings can feel, and over history, I guess the construct, this social invention of love has changed over time. The way that we perceive it and the way that we accept it and the way that we tolerate it over history has changed. While it is a human emotion that we can all feel, it is also very personal. The way that you perceive love and you understand it and how you feel it can never be compared to the person next to you. We can articulate it the best we can empathize, we can understand, we can relate, but the feeling itself, I don't know if it can be defined. Again, I don't know if it is something that we just made up or if it is purely a feeling. I mean, we have so many different types of love, whether it be love of food, love of travel, love of your lifestyle, love of your partner, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, your soulmate, your best friend. I mean, there's also the love of children, love of sleep, and love of yourself. Obviously, in no particular order there. I mean, are there different levels of love? Is it how we define it? Is it how somebody else defines it? Is it how science defines it? Is it just purely physiological, or is it about practicality? Is it about the 5 rules and the 5 studies that have been done surrounding love? I mean, there's been lots of research done, and I had a quick read of this, but on the psychology of attraction, and apparently there's 5 rules or 5 studies that have measured different ways of people falling in love. It has to do with similarity, proximity, how much you have to gain, beauty, and also they did this bridge study, which I think measured if you have a higher level of arousal at the time, you are more likely to be attracted to someone, which I guess kind of makes sense. You know, your emotions are running high and you're working on instinct rather than thought. And this is why it gets complicated with whether love is in our head, or, of course, I'm not disputing the fact that we feel love. I'm sure most of you would have been in love. If you haven't, I'm sure you will. And I'm sure most of you have been through breakups. We all have, and if you haven't, you will. And it sucks, you know. I'm not saying that love doesn't feel real and it doesn't feel hurt. It doesn't hurt when it ends, and it doesn't feel good when it's good, and it doesn't feel exciting. All those things are true, and we have our own understanding of that based on our own personal experience. As much as you want to teach someone what love is, it's one of those things you kind of have to feel, and it's one of those things that we get from the moment we're born. Hopefully, we're supposed to. As babies, to survive, we need food, but we also need love. I also think with love, everything, like everything else in life, it's on a spectrum. You can't go from one extreme to the other and expect that's where everybody is. No, there's a million people between then, and more people probably. But I guess even when you're talking about love, whether you're talking about people who are gay, people who are bisexual, people who are straight, people who are transgender or gender neutral is what I was trying to say, and you know, whether you're talking about, like I said, the love of your friends or the love of your partners, how do you measure it? Is it measurable, or is it purely instinct? Is it purely all feeling? And as I said, like, love can really suck, but is it, I guess you have to question, is the love itself the bad thing, or is it all the other shit surrounding it, like jealousy and breakups and I guess pressure and compromise? Because essentially what you're doing when you're in a relationship is you're compromising, coexisting with a person. I would never suggest compromising yourself, because that should never be an option. The whole point of being in love or loving someone or being loved by someone is to be yourself and to be comfortable in that, to know that that's why they love you, not pretending to be anybody else. I guess the thing about love is that I don't think it's something that can be controlled. I think it comes with a balance of this, like I said, those 5 rules, like how close you are to that person every day in your daily life. It depends on whether you're physically attracted to that person. It depends on if you have similarities and you can relate on some personal level. There are certain things that people will not want in a partner, and so where you draw the line is entirely up to you. And whether that's unconscious or a conscious decision, that will affect whether you love someone. And sometimes you can't control those. You can't control those feelings. It's as well as with the argument with people who are gay, whether it's a choice or not. I think that, again, it's all on a spectrum, and people will love who they love. And, you know, I have this perfect example when I was in year 11, I think, so my second to last year of high school. I was doing this politics class, and our teacher decided one day he was going to get us to debate, which is probably only natural in a politics class. But essentially what he did, he posed a question, hold on, let me get this right. Is it natural for same-sex couples to have children? And probably, I think it was literally like 50-50 split. And a lot of it was based on the actual way the question was worded, or whether it's natural as in to have children. And obviously people were arguing the point, well, no, you do need sperm, and you need an egg, and you need a male and a female for that. So that was kind of a little bit of the contentious issue. But I remember basically at the time there was a German exchange student, and I friggin' love the European people. They tend to be a lot more progressive, which I think is where my political and personal views lie. Obviously there are spots of places around the US and obviously Canada and in Asia there are progressive places, but I think, you know, overall Europe does tend to be a little bit forward thinking in that area. Anyway, so yeah, my teacher asked for her opinion, and you know, it was like, what do you think? Do you think it's natural for same-sex couples? And she was just like, you know what, love is love, like you can't help it. And I swear to God, like pretty much 99% of the class got up and moved over to the side that agreed. And of course, you know, when you think about it, when you lay things out, just love is something that is so simple and so complex at the same time, and it's so globally felt, what's the word, it's felt collectively by everyone, but in our very own and personal ways. I mean, back in the olden day, people used to marry for practicality, or whether, you know, your family was wealthy or not and how much you could offer. It was like a transactional type scenario, whereas today I think we're moving towards that stage of understanding love more. I think we still have a lot to learn. I don't think we've uncovered every aspect of it, but it is always interesting to constantly reflect on it and sort of appreciate how far we've come. There's still a long way to go in a lot of things in the world. I'm definitely not suggesting we're there yet, but there is this understanding, this mutual understanding that sometimes maybe people can't help who they love, that sometimes it's not necessarily practical, but it happens and people feel close to one another. And I mean, there's this argument that we come into this world alone, we leave this world alone. So do we actually need love? But I think we do. I think in certain doses. I don't necessarily think you need that big love, although that would be nice if everyone could get that. It depends on your life, it depends on your circumstances. Like I said, there's those rules of attraction. If you're constantly moving around the world and, you know, you're very comfortable with your own company and you get everything that you need out of your social interactions with your friends or your work colleagues or whatever, perhaps you'll go through life being happy, and that's totally fine. But obviously those who have felt love, people who do know that feeling, there are words to describe it, but you can never adequately explain it, I don't think, until somebody has their own understanding and experience of that. And that's how we relate. We can share this personal feeling we have with people who can relate. As I said, over history, the perception of love and marriage as well, which I know are two very separate things, just to be clear. Yeah, over time, it has changed. I think we've come a long way, as I've said. I think the world has become a little bit more open to love, which isn't a bad thing, to accept that we're all in this together, that we need to cooperate to succeed, and whether that's on a partner level, whether it's on a friendship level. I mean, today, the big love, that falling in love with someone and sharing your life with someone, I think everything depends on timing. I think everything depends on openness. And I think it depends on having some sensibility and that feeling. And then probably most importantly, it's about loving yourself. If you don't love yourself for who you are, then you're not going to let somebody love you for that because you are ashamed of a part of you. But yeah, I think, you know, being open to love is necessary. Allowing another human being to love you with flaws and all, with absolutely no shame, no insecurities, and being connected to someone on that deeper romantic and intimate level, I think it just means you need to accept who you are to love someone back, you know, and to be loved. I don't think you should have any compromises or excuses. You should love the person that you are today because that's all you are today. And I said this like a million times, but you know, you are who you are. at this moment, and until, if you choose to change, if you want to be a better person, that's on you, and that's up to you to decide to do that tomorrow or right now, this second. You know, life is moments, and you don't have to divide it into days or years if you don't want to. I don't think the feeling of love can be taught. I don't think it can be faked. I also don't think you can be forced into it or out of it. And I also believe that we need some form of it to survive. Like I said, whether you're a child and you need a love from a mother or a father or a guardian or someone, every child needs just someone on their side. That's just to get them through childhood, because we learn those needs. You need to learn love to be able to be loved and have love. So in that sense, it can be taught. And it's such a shame if you don't get to feel that, if you were ripped off and you were dealt a very bad hand of cards, but you weren't brought up as a child who was loved. And I'm sure, I hope now that's changing, and I hope the perception and the importance of loving children and loving each other is coming through a little bit more. I think the message is becoming more clear. As I said, it's hard to define love, whether you look at it from a physiological point of view, a psychological point of view, a cultural point of view, or simply an emotional point of view. It becomes, I think it is, love itself is that social construct, but the feeling, like I said, you can't fake it and you can't put it away. You can't stop it just because you decide that it isn't practical. Like I said, there are rules, I think, that help relationships last and love grow and flourish, but you know, as long as we're mature about it and, you know, you try not to hurt people. And I think that's love. I think it's just like, I will do whatever it takes to protect you. I will take care of you if you need it. And no matter what you do, I don't judge you. And I think that's love. True love is that unconditional love that you should get from a parent or a guardian. And maybe that's unrealistic, you know, and maybe that's just my perception or my experience of it. But, you know, love can be really good. You know, put the jealousy, put the envy aside. I mean, there used to be relationships. You think of polyamorous, is that polyamorous? I think that's the word, polyamorous relationships. You know, we have 5 partners. I think we're capable of loving more than one person, but obviously there's also this side of loyalty and marriage that was brought into it through history. So, yeah, obviously we're not necessarily sure everything about love. All we know is that it exists and it's something that we can feel, and as humans we're extremely lucky to be able to experience that feeling. Being a human just blows my mind. I don't know, I get, like, if I actually sit down and think about where we are in the world, the universe, like how small we are, but what we're absolutely capable of, it's incredible. It seriously just blows my mind every single time. You know, and if you've never felt love before, I promise you it's something that, as long as I think you have to look at where you are in your life at the moment, how you're feeling about yourself. Do you get up every day and go, yeah, you know what, I can get through today, I can do what I want to do, I'm doing something for me, I'm growing as a person? Or do you get up and think, not today, not today, and then you do the same tomorrow and the next day and the next day? You know, it's a matter of you loving yourself. Anyway, I've probably gone on for like way too long now. But yeah, look, I don't know, I probably didn't cover everything that I wanted to, as per always. So if there is anything specifically in my videos, either this one or previous ones or future ones, that you'd like me to go into detail more specifically, I'd love to. I could literally talk for days about some particular topics. I just try and keep it as concise as I possibly can. And even still, obviously, I repeat myself, which you would have noticed if, you know, you've been watching my videos. I try to read, I try to get myself a little bit more informed before doing these sorts of things. And so it is really cool to have a dialogue between you guys and myself, and trying to, you know, I want to do videos that you guys are interested in as well as myself. So to have that kind of guidance, to have that feedback, to have that input, I mean, that's something I love, you know. And so, you know, this was a really interesting topic, and I was really excited to do it. And so, yeah, I just wanted to say thank you as always for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, trust me, there'll be more coming out. So hopefully you can enjoy one of those. And if you don't, that's cool too. Oh, and for those of you who are interested, I did hand up my essay yesterday. Thank God, with about 3 hours to spare because I had work. So I'm just waiting for my HD now. Anyway, guys, until next time, have a good one and peace out.